Welcome to the story. Story The Rise of Chess. There was just one pawn. True, satisfied. It was the first piece to be made. Well, I don't know. But although I had to read the dictionary. The Wikipedia. I had to think about it. Anyways. Resuming, there is a pawn. This pawn can move 2 steps forward as it starts and 1 step forward after doing 2 steps forward. You can see this little pawn over there. Let me show you how it moves. Now do you see the placement of the pawn? He's moving 1 step, but he begins. And then if you move him again at the start, let us see. You can see him that he is in this direction, but the pawn didn't want to be underestimated. He was alone. I feel very sad this pawn though. Then there was the rook. He moves forward and backward. And he's like a double cheat speeder, which he wants to dive and around. He is an all-rounder castle who almost feels like a castle. He knew that he would protect his buddy, the pawn. Although he's so strong, he's very great. He is also one of the pieces which has a higher rank. His rank was higher than the bishop, knight, and the pawn himself. They underestimated that although these 2 pieces were living long, a horse which was on the left direction, which they did not know. Meet the knight. The knight, which you may think that the knight is a figure out of a horse, but you cannot see a person riding this knight because it's a piece. He can do an L doing like this, and he has a low, and his rank is just higher than just a pawn. Watch him as he does it. And if you want to do like this one, here. Now you remember his moves, right? Which the 2 of them met, they started to look at each other, and they looked at each other. They looked at each other with happiness to see that there was a new piece. The knight, the rook, and the pawn. But it was not fair to have 3 pieces. So, how about we move on to the next piece? The bishop, which falls to the sky. He was the one which is higher than the priest. He is higher than knights and the pawn. At least he cannot move in forwards, but he can move in diagonals. Plus, in Ultimate Chess, he can move anywhere. And he can also do his fireball ability. Fireball! 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 Which he can capture pieces without moving. Plus, the rook can also move anywhere like this. But, although this one, these rules are only in Ultimate Chess. But although these 4 pieces start together, there was the pawn, then there was the rook. There was the rook. And there came the knight. And after that, it was the bishop. All those 4 pieces lived in harmony, except there were 2 highest pieces. In acquired, the pawn can move anywhere in Ultimate Chess. But any game, we call him the king and his husband, the queen. I mean, wife. The king and the queen. Can you represent the husband and wife? Well, they are the royal family. The queen and the kings can command their units. Except, pawn is just one. So, why only? So the king commands his pawn to duplicate himself into lots. And you can see he started to duplicate. He was multiplying and multiplying. Now there were 8 pawns. You could see these 8 pawns in the light. But not only that, rook, knight, and bishop started to duplicate themselves into 2. It was part of the rules, you see, in chess. There are 2 of those pieces. Except the queen and the king, they can be promoted. Well, the rules in chess, you can see it in the rules in a channel which I already saw. Well, I don't know its name, but you could try to search it. I'll tell you later. The rook, the knight, and the bishop, they started to duplicate themselves into 2. The king was impressed, so he tried to move. But whatever it is, he is checkmate. He's the only piece which he can be checkmate. So all his pieces shall help him. And one thing, the king learned how to train his rook, two of his rooks, on how to castle. Now they castled together. They became, rook was in the left and the king was in the right. They could see at each other their faces of delight. The queen, who just came, heard a bad news. There were black pieces too, who wanted to capture their livelihoods and defeat every piece in the world. Why ever? That was the dark black pieces, which all of these pieces started to band together so they can defeat them. Never underestimate chess, the strategic game of kings and queens, and also intelligent chess masters. They join together. When you join together the white, you are the good. When you join the black, they are also good. But they are balanced with good and bad. The end.